Hi, I'm Andrea Angella and welcome to the Practical C# video series. In this video, I'd like to talk about default expressions in C# 7.1. At the time of the recording, C# 7.1 has not been yet released, and I'm using Visual Studio Preview 3 in order to showcase this feature. Let's have a look. I have a console application, and I'm trying to define an hybrid function. That's if I run this program, I can show you what that is. It's basically a way to define a function as a list of sub-functions, and a sub-function will apply if a particular predicate is true. For example, if I call f of 10, 10 is greater than 5, then I will use x plus 1 as function. While if I pass minus 5, because x is less than 0, I will use x by x instead of the other subfunction. Alternatively, if nothing match, I will return 0. So it's a way to define hybrid functions, as you can do in mathematics. So let's see how I can use this class. The idea is that I create an hybrid function, I provide the types I want, and then I say, okay, I want to return x plus 1 if x is greater than 5, or I want to return x by x if x is less than 0. Or otherwise, I want to return 0, and I don't provide a predicate. Right? Or I could even not to pass anything, and I will still that the default value will be returned. Okay, let's have a quick look at how this is implemented. I have an hybrid function class that is generics, and I have a list of functions, and each function is a predicate with a subfunction and a predicate. The add function method is basically adding a tuple in the list, and the most important method I want to show you is the invoke method. So it's relatively simple. You iterate through a list of functions. If the predicate is null, so it's not provided, or is actually true, then I evaluate the function. If the function is null, I return the default value. Alternatively, I actually run the function. If there is no functions that match, I will return the default value. Okay? Right. So what I have here, I've used default t-result that basically return null if t-result is a reference type, or return 0 if t-result is a value type. In particular, if t-result is a numeric value, we return 0. If it's a struct, we return a struct with all zeros in the fields, all nulls. So what C# 7.1 allows you to do is to not specify the type here and use default directly. This means that the compiler already knows what the type of the result will be, so automatically infer the type from you and use default of the type for you automatically. And this feature it's pretty simple, and it doesn't really make a lot of a difference, but can make the code slightly more readable, but it's not really something that makes a huge difference. And I'm not a huge fan of this feature, particularly because you can use default instead of null if you want, and that can make things a bit more complicated. So I would recommend you not to use default if you know if the type is a reference type or a value type. In that case, use null or 0 directly. But in the cases where you are using generics and you don't know if the type you are dealing with is a reference type or a value type, in that case, you can use default. That's quite handy. You don't need to provide a type. And this is it. This is the feature called default expressions in C# 7.1. If you like the video and you want to stay up to date with C# and .NET, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you.